Hello and welcome to another edition of First Listen. This week I will be cheating a little bit because I know the artist that I'm going to listen to reasonably well. Not personally, I just know his music. He is arguably Canada's greatest musical export. No, not him. For God's sake, not him. No. Who I'm talking about is, of course, not him either. I'm talking about Neil Young. Neil Young, Canada's greatest musical export. And the album I'm listening to today, most of you lot have probably never heard before either. Between 1975 and 1977, Neil Young and his producer pal Dave Briggs would periodically record sessions at Indigo Ranch on a full moon. Ooh. And one of those sessions was on August the 11th, 1976. And they recorded this album in one full session. And actually, some of the songs were actually written and recorded in the same night that produced this album. Some of these songs have been re-recorded and issued elsewhere, like Pocahontas and Powderfinger. But there is two songs that have never, ever been released before, which are, where are they? Hawaii and Give Me Strength. So, I've got everything hooked up. We're going to listen to Neil Young's Hitchhiker. Oh, just gotta put on the old cans and crack open the old beer. Right, Neil Young's Hitchhiker, which was actually, I didn't mention before, nominated to listen to by my brother Paul Watson. He's a massive Neil Young fan. It's quite a short album, 33 minutes more or less that's lasted. Apparently Reprise didn't want to release this as an album when he first presented it to them because they thought it sounded like a bunch of demos. And in some respects it kind of does, but in some respects it doesn't really sound that different to other stuff he was releasing that was just acousticy stuff anyway, you know. So don't know what the problem with the Replies was there. The two new songs, Hawaii and Give Me Strength, I could have done without Hawaii, I think. It did, I don't know, didn't resonate as much with me as the other new track, Give Me Strength. It sounds like a Neil Young album. It sounds like what you expect a Neil Young album to sound like, which is a good thing, right? It's not a bad thing in the slightest. There was one track called Campaigner. I couldn't tell any difference between the Hitchhiker version and the version that's on Decade, but I mean, that might be something different, I don't know, it just sounded the same to me, maybe a slight different. My favourite tracks were Powderfinger and the last track, Old Country Waltz. I think of this version of Old Country Waltz I prefer to the American Stars and Bars version. Powderfinger I don't prefer to the version with Crazy Horse on Rust Never Sleeps, but Old Country Waltz I thought was great. And there's a line in Old Country Waltz which really fits the album as well, which is this old music has kept me on top. And it absolutely has, because this is his old music being released now, and it will put other artists to shame who are trying to do a similar thing these days and just can't, because Neil Young's capability to write great songs is just, second to pretty much no one. So How many miserable dickheads out of 5 will I give Neil Young's Hitchhiker? I will give Neil Young's Hitchhiker 4 miserable dickheads out of 5. I think the reason I'm removing the 1 is because of Hawaii. I think you could have edited that off, Neil. Some people might love it. I didn't particularly. So, thank you for watching. If there is something you would like me to listen to, just let me know. Send me a message somehow. Only bits of criteria I have is that I've never heard the album before, which you won't know unless you tell me. And number 2, that I can easily find it to listen to, like Spotify, where I listen to Neil Young's Hitchhiker, for example, or I can steal it off the internet. So, get your suggestions in, leave some comments. What did you think of Hitchhiker? Do you prefer these versions of the songs to the ones that came out at a later date? Do you think there's something magical about the way that these ones were recorded? And what's your opinion? Leave a little comment. Why don't you? This album would be beautiful to listen to in the mountains somewhere, sat around a campfire with some cold beers and some friends. Wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Cheers.